Hello wonderful world, and today for those of my biker fraternity and family and friends, I want to offer a special review. A special review because this bike is known by many as a good starter adventure bike. It's the CB500X, but this particular bike that I'm riding was just under 149,000 kilometers. That's what the clock was reading. After riding this in Greece, I've clocked over 150,000 kilometers on this bike. I did a video earlier and I did a review of this, but I didn't show the off-road that I rode on. So this time I'm going to talk about the bike, how I felt riding it, things that I noted about this bike, and I'm going to do it all whilst riding mediocre off-road terrains. So let's begin, shall we? I think we shall. Of course, you know my normal routine. I throw a little photo shoot of the bike. The first pictures were a brand new CB500X, which obviously have a certain beauty. And then the latter pictures are of the bike that I'm actually riding, an older CB500X. But one thing to note, as old as it may be, a CB500X, old or new, is very, very capable. Yes, still very capable, as I will prove on this 150,000 plus kilometer bike when I go off-road. In terms of this bike, it's a very capable bike. 500cc for most people in the West is considered a small bike. But to be honest, this 500cc does perform well. And you wouldn't think it's a 500cc unless you read 500 on the tank. It takes inclines with ease, it's versatile, it's robust, and to be honest, sometimes when you go on off-road tracks like the one I'm approaching right now, you want something light, and this isn't a heavy bike. So really, it's not just a beginner adventure bike, it possibly is one of the most ideal adventure bikes. But this CB500X is probably one of the best to buy. You know why? I'll tell you. Simply because it's cheap. It's the cheapest Japanese adventure bike you can buy. Now that's enough of me sharing my love and regaling a love story for the CB500X. This track is not the toughest of off-road tracks, but it's still quite taxing and testing. And further, as we get along on this track, you'll see how difficult it gets. One needs to appreciate that this is not a dual sport bike, it's an adventure bike. So if people were expecting me to ride on these tracks at supersonic speed, that would be daft, and that would be unfair on this bike. So if you use this bike as it should be used, you can take it literally anywhere. Earlier I said it's a light bike. It's not actually that light, but the way the weight is distributed, the center of gravity that this bike holds means it feels very light. It feels very nimble and very maneuverable, and that I've tested at length. The seating posture on this bike is great. For a small bike compared to others, you don't feel it's a small bike. It sits me at 6 foot very comfortably. Its fuel efficiency is another plus point that I want to bring to your attention. It is a small engine, and therefore if you don't freight this, in other words, you don't push it to 100 miles per hour plus, this will move along at a cost to your pocket that is reasonable, especially in light of how fuel prices are going straight through the roof. Many have complained about the suspension on this bike, it being soft. You know what, folks, as I earlier mentioned, this is not a dual sport bike. So actually the soft suspension has helped me a great deal. I'm close to 100 kilograms and I don't feel the jumps. Look, even if you look at the terrain and if you see how the cluster meter is moving, it's not moving that much. The suspension on this bike, front and rear, actually soften the ride. And if you're going at a pace that I'm going at, that's what you want. You don't want to be feeling the pain of the road going through your spine, well, starting with your butt and then up through your spine. No. That would tire you a lot more. In actual fact, due to its soft suspension, this doesn't tire you that much. Remember folks, this is a Honda, so everything that comes with a Honda, durability and peace of mind, great mechanics and great design, comes with this CB500X.
They say when you ride a bike, you should have foot down, and that's one of the things that they test you on when they give you your license, whether you put your foot down. And I understand why, because obviously on tarmac roads, if you put your foot down, you pivot the bike and that therefore potentially you lose control. But on these terrains where the speed is very, very slow, I'm doing 14, 15 kilometers an hour, if I put my foot down and I let go of the accelerator, the bike pretty much comes to a standstill, and that foot can actually help you balance or just keep your line that you want to keep. So it's not a bad thing, it just depends on where you're using your foot. Just want to see how far I am. Wow, it's like nearly 6 more kilometers of this kind of track. That's a long journey. It's in 27 minutes. But I didn't expect it to be that long. Well, it's all good fun. Oh, now the track gets a little more gnarly, a little more tougher. One thing I don't want to do is drop the bike. Not because it can't handle it, it's got engine guards that can handle a drop. It's just, I'm feeling really tired. And even though there are ways to pick a bike up, and I'm sure I would be able to pick this up if I dropped it, it just zaps the energy out of me. And to be honest, I don't really want more energy zapped out of me. I'm pretty much zapped as it is with the heat. Now the thing is, going up is easy, going down is much more difficult, because when you apply your rear brake going down, the back wheel sort of jumps off the ground and you have this situation where you really do lose control.
Apologies for the poor audio. Obviously concentrating on the road and talking is not an easy task, especially when you've got sweat coming off your brow. Anyway, that's it really folks. I'm gonna let the video play out, but that's all I wanted to show you and prove to you, that the CB500X is definitely a bike that will be around for a long time, because it is a bike that offers a lot for a small amount of money when comparing it to other bikes that are on the market. Now, if you want to know more about this bike, the nitty-gritty, I have done a proper comprehensive review of the CB500X. It's on my channel. Please feel free to search it out and watch it. It's not got this off-road terrain, but I do take it down steps just to see the suspension, and I do a few other things with it. But all I can say right now is, for those that are on two wheels, God bless you. May you ride safely and get home in one piece. And for the rest of you that are watching, thank you. God bless you too. See you soon on the next video. Take care, everyone.